Hey guys, how's it going? How's it going? It's Deborah Richelieu here with
Rev K.
Yes, welcome to the Rich Couch. Today we're talking about PCOS and mental health. So stay tuned. We're here to have a rich conversation and enrich your life. So let's dig in. Welcome back to the Rich Couch YouTube channel.
Let me in too. I always give some space. You know?
Yes.
Let me get in. Let me get in too. You know what I'm saying? Let me get in.
Okay, so welcome guys. Welcome. Listen, I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you're watching live with us, or maybe you're watching the replay. Either way, I'm excited that you're here. We want this to be a rich conversation for you. We want it to be a resource to you. So let's dig in. So today we're going to be talking about PCOS and your mental health. Last week we talked about PCOS and marriage, which is why my amazing husband is here.
Let me back on, y'all. Let me back
on. Listen, he's not always going to be on the Rich Couch, but every once in a while I'm like, baby, you got to come back. You got to come back. So today we are talking about PCOS and your mental health, how it impacts your mental health. And this is near and dear to my heart as a licensed marriage and family therapist who has PCOS. And if you don't know what PCOS is, it is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. And it actually is very common in a lot of women. About, I think, 6 to 12% of women in reproductive age can deal with PCOS, which is a really high number, depending on your resources you're looking at. So, and PCOS has basically, it is a hormonal imbalance. And it can lead to fertility issues. Women with PCOS have higher levels of androgen levels, which androgen is it's a male hormone. Both men and women have it, right? But a lot of times women, it's not very high. But with women with PCOS, it's very, very high. So we have a lot of symptoms that can really be irritating. Something as maybe not as serious for some people, but you're over 30 and you're still dealing with acne, specifically along the jawline. You deal with excessive hair growth on your face and other parts of your body, such as your chest or your stomach area. So PCOS has a lot of frustrating things to more like serious things, like you have very infrequent periods. And so if you're not having a period, that means you're not ovulating. And if you aren't family planning years, that can really get in the way of your plans to, have children. You're only having a period maybe twice a year, 3 times a year, very infrequent, very random. And so That's what a snapshot of PCOS is. And so I want to talk about the mental impact. I want to talk about the mental impact today and how I have received much support through my mental health and how I have also, paid it forward to clients who have shared, have opened up with me that they have PCOS. So I came up with a few tips that may be helpful for you. You're going to see it on the screen as we go through. But again, just to show how impactful PCOS can be to the mental health of a young woman, I pulled up some numbers here. PCOS is high and ranges, women with PCOS, depression ranges very high in women with PCOS. So anywhere from 16 to 55% of the participants in this research study confirmed that they are struggling with depression. That is a very, very high number. And so it all made sense to me when I thought about my own story, right? I shared with you all last week, I learned about having an official diagnosis in 2017 in my late 20s. But as a teenager, in my early 20s, I always had like a very infrequent period. But finding out the actual diagnosis through ultrasound and blood tests, that's how you can truly become diagnosed, is through an ultrasound and blood test. You can see the little tiny cyst. I think some doctors call it like a bag of pearls to make it less, intense. But they're non-cancerous, little tiny cysts all over your ovaries. But that can be really discouraging to a young woman or even to a young couple. What do you think? When they're mentally just processing all the information.
Yeah. It's something we didn't hear about in school.
Yeah.
Something we didn't study. And
that's true. We didn't.
All the human sexuality classes, anatomy, physiology.
We took anatomy. We took biology. We took.
It's like, what is that?
Anatomy classes. Yeah. Now that you say it, I just thought about that. In all of our science classes, we never touched on PCOS, so it's very unfamiliar territory. Absolutely. So let's go into some of these tips. If you're watching this, you're a woman, you're a wife with PCOS, and you just found out. Or maybe you're single or dating and you're just finding out about PCOS and you're concerned about your mental health. Women with PCOS are at high risk for depression and anxiety. It makes sense, right? You think about, wait a minute, my life may look very different from what I planned it to be. You start having all these anxious thoughts. Okay, so tip number 1 that has been very, very helpful for me, and I encourage it to any woman who finds out about PCOS. Do not live isolated. Do not isolate yourself. By that, I mean be intentional in creating a community of support.
That's good.
You have to be intentional in creating a community of support.
Do you think that tip helps people that have any kind of diagnosis or any type of condition?
Yeah, I think this is helpful for whether you have PCOS, like myself, like several women, maybe friends that you know. I think it's helpful anytime you get a new diagnosis, like fibroids, endometriosis. All of these things can change. Maybe it's a skin, issue. Maybe it is a, another issue. Like any new diagnosis, prepare for your life to be changed. So when your life is about to change through a diagnosis, it's definitely important to get a supportive community around you. As a matter of fact, as a licensed therapist, anytime I'm working with an individual, their first session is what we call an intake session. And so I ask them, what does your support system look like? So if you're coming to me for depression, if you're coming to me for anxiety, if you're coming to me for grief or significant life transition, I am going to assess, what is your level of support looking like? Do you have anyone that you can contact? Okay, so that was tip number 1. Tip number 2, start a routine of journaling your feelings.
That's good.
Okay, so let's talk about journaling.
That's good.
Because both men and women can journal.
Absolutely.
Right? Do you journal?
Yes, I actually have a whole bunch of journals. Journals that I filled, journals that are still being filled, journals with different thoughts, journals for notes, journals for processing, journals for prayer, journals for books I'm reading. I do love journaling. I didn't realize it'd be something that I would enjoy doing, but I do think men totally should get into journaling if they're not already doing so.
Okay, why do you think men should get into journaling?
I think because naturally, I know every guy's not the same, but naturally men tend to deal with what we're dealing with either mostly internally. That's what I should say.
That's true.
And
that's true.
I think when we only deal with things internally or attempt to do so, it's possible to get to a place of depression, discouragement, doubt, discouragement, or I already mentioned that, or defeat, I should say. And I think that the journaling helps to make sure that we're not kind of bottling all those feelings inside. But gives us a place to dump it somewhere so that we can still carry on.
Yes, and that's why, and I think it's good to hear, first of all, a man share that journaling is helpful and effective, right?
Yep.
Because it's not just for women, it's for men too. So journaling has been an effective way. I've journaled for years. And years, but it's been an effective way to get my feelings out, to get my thoughts out, because as you can imagine, a woman has a lot of thoughts and feelings about, having PCOS. We were chilling. We were happy, to be honeymooners in the beginning. And so you have all these feelings of happiness, and then you get this news, and you're like, your feelings have to kind of shift a little bit. So it's important to have a non-judgmental space, a free space where you can write out all of your feelings, because one moment we were feeling happy about not having kids, and now we're questioning, okay, what are our options? What are our choices? How do I even feel about all of this information I'm taking in? So I really encourage you to make journaling a part of your regular morning or evening routine when you wake up in the day, or how you wind down at night. Okay, tip number 3, practice deep breathing or box breathing. So I wanted us to engage in this together. I do this with clients in session, and I want you to do it with me. I want you guys to do it with me.
Okay. Right. I didn't know I was doing that. It's all right. I'm ready. On the rich couch.
Are you ready? On the rich couch.
On the rich couch.
Absolutely. And this is one of my favorite coping techniques, because it can really help calm down the mind, the spirit, the thoughts that we're having, right? That's causing anxiety or depression. Thoughts maybe that may have been rooted in trauma too, because going through all these different appointments and, meeting with your doctor, I'll get into that in the next point. It can bring about a lot of overthinking and a lot of stress. So deep breathing has become one of my go-to coping skills that I use in therapy, and I use for my own coping skills as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in like 4 counts, and I'll count off on my fingers so you guys can follow along. And it'll help kind of guide you. And then 4 counts breathing in through the nose. And we can even watch our chest rise. And then about 5 counts breathing out through the mouth as if you're breathing out of a small straw. Okay. So let's practice. Okay? Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Let's try it again. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Okay, how you feeling?
Calm.
Okay, let's try it again. This time, you're going to place one hand at the top of your belly.
All right. Okay.
And then another hand just lovingly right over your heart.
Okay.
Right?
This way.
Just reminding yourself that you are loved, you're special, you are cared for. Okay? All right, so we're going to breathe in through the nose, and then we're going to breathe out. We're going to hold it, and then we're going to breathe out. Okay? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Think about all the stress of your appointments and then breathe out. Beautiful. You're doing great. One more time. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Beautiful. One thing I encourage clients to do when they're doing box breathing is add in a word of affirmation or maybe a reminder to themselves. So you can maybe breathe in. You want to do it with me?
Yeah.
Okay, breathe in. Breathe out. God is in control. Breathe in. Breathe out. I am safe. Breathe in. Breathe out. I am calm. All right, slowly open up those eyes. All right, how you feeling?
I feel good. Just
You
to
feel
know God's in
good?
control. And
Yes.
I know that breathing exercises often in different circles are utilized to get into other forms of spirituality. So I love
Right.
that we center our prayer and these practices in Christ, because He is the one who is in control.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Deborah.
Absolutely, yes. And so, I hope that connects with you. What connects with me is my faith, right? In Christ and God. So I use that because I know who's ultimately in control. So next tip, and we're almost done here. Next tip. So start therapy. Start therapy. And why do I encourage you to start therapy? From a therapist who's gone to therapy, it has been probably one of the most useful and greatest blessings, right? My therapist was just amazing, like a breath of fresh air of a safe space for me to process my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions with. Remember, PCOS girlies have a significant chance of developing depression and anxiety after you've been diagnosed, or you may even be feeling like sad or different as you're experiencing mood swings and some of these different symptoms. So start therapy, and then it's a great way to continue with mental health check-ins throughout the year. So after I've experienced every major life event, post-pandemic, I started off monthly. We were paying out of pocket. We did not use insurance. My therapist does not take insurance, and I'm not here to get into a debacle about that. But I was okay with it. We just made room in our budget to see her. And my therapist was faith-based. There was so many things about me she understood that I didn't have to break down. She's a Black woman. She's a mother. She had experienced loss before when it comes to children. So there was so much that she understood about my life, my worries, my anxieties. I was like, I don't want to see anybody else. I don't want to see someone my employer sends me, or EAP or insurance or anything like that. I want to see you, and I will pay to see you, and I'll make that investment. And so we started doing that once a month, and then whenever I need a check-in, I do a mental health check-in with her. So if you have PCOS, I strongly encourage that you have some mental health check-ins, even if you don't see your therapist every week or every month, but definitely have some check-ins throughout the year. You could learn more techniques and interventions, and just be on the preventative side and take care of yourself because you're worth it. Okay, tip number 5, and this one is really, really important. Build a medical support system.
That's good.
So, building a medical support system, and the tip number 4 and tip number 5 kind of work together because your therapist is a mental health professional that you're building onto this support team. So you will be encouraged You will be encouraged to be meeting with a specialist, someone who has a background in endocrinology, because of the hormonal imbalance and all the things that's out of whack with your blood sugars. You will have your OB, which you have annual visits with.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And you'll also have a nutritionist that you will be assigned to help you to learn how to eat differently, because a lot of PCOS, there's no actual cure. There's no cure, right? It is a lot of lifestyle changes because the symptoms, and there's different types of PCOS. I won't go into that today, but it's a lot of lifestyle changes. So you get all these medical professionals who now become part of your healthcare team. And like I shared last week, one of the biggest things that I've taken away from this journey was being empowered to advocate for myself as a patient.
Yep.
And I encourage my clients to do the same. Advocate for yourself. Meeting with your doctor regularly, very important. Okay, and the last thing, the last tip, which is so beautiful. And I hope you embrace this and adopt it as your own, is speaking positive affirmations over your body. Speaking positive affirmations over your body. This is so powerful. And let me know what you think about this. As a couples therapist, sometimes, you ask the couple, how long you been together, right? Or how long have you been in a relationship with this person? Or what's the longest relationship you've ever been in, right? And I heard someone say this, and I was like, I never thought about it this way. The longest relationship you've been in is a relationship with yourself. What do you think about that?
Wow.
Right? That's deep. That's deep, because you think about your earliest memory of when you first knew that you were beautiful, or when you first started to develop your sense of self-worth or your sense of self-compassion, right? Some of you don't have no compassion for yourselves. And your body goes through all these different changes with PCOS, but your worth doesn't. And I really, really want to drive this point. Your body may change, but your worth does not change.
That's really good.
You're still beautiful. You're still worthy of love. You're still worthy of self-care. You're still worthy of having a sound mind. So it is so important, the relationship you have with yourself. And maybe this should have been a separate point. But the relationship you develop with yourself as you go through this PCOS journey. So what are some positive affirmations you could be saying? This is a tip my therapist shared with me that I want to share with you. Listing different positive affirmations about yourself. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of good health. I'm worthy of good mental health. Right? I deserve to be in healthy relationships. I deserve to have a healthy body. Your body's going to change with PCOS if it hasn't already. I will tell you, I'll be transparent moment. The sizes of my clothes have varied so drastically throughout the years. And so it's been so important that my value is not in a number behind some jeans from Target, right? My value is not in those things, but my value is in how I see myself and how I talk to myself. I was going for a walk this week, because that's another great coping skill. I didn't put it on here. But going for a walk, and as I was headed back home, I was like, you're beautiful, you're strong, you got this. How you talk to yourself is so important, because if you're talking to yourself, you're ugly, you're fat, you can't fit into your clothes, you're a failure. Like, if you're constantly talking to yourself this way, you are damaging a very important relationship, which is the relationship you have with yourself, right? And at the end of the day, I'm not going to preach now, but...
You preaching today, huh?
I'm preaching today. Yes, last week you was preaching. This week I'm preaching. I'm not going to preach, but the person you talking back to in the mirror, that person has been created in the image of God. So now you telling God you messed up. This is a piece of trash. This is not good enough.
That's good.
Right? So it's a reminder that you are a reflection of God's creation. And God don't create nothing that's not good, right? And we go through things that don't make us feel good, right? As part of our human experience, but you are so worthy and you're so beautiful and you're so special. And it's really important for you how you talk to yourself. So I encourage you to come up with a list. Leaving here today, I encourage you to come up with a rich list of positive affirmations you can speak over yourself, especially after learning that you have PCOS. That is all that I have for you all today. Our chat today was a little shorter than last week, right? That's all that I have, but let me know. Oh, I can see a comment here. Yes, so Tiff shared facts. We've been in a relationship with ourselves the longest. Absolutely, yes. We have been in a relationship with ourselves. I cannot take credit. Sorry, you guys, my shirt is doing something. I cannot take credit for that quote. I saw it online and I was like, that is such a beautiful quote and a beautiful thought for us to kind of grab hold of as we go through this journey. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this with another PCOS girly, PCOS wife, a PCOS sis, somebody you know is going to encourage her, it's going to lift her spirit, and maybe these tips are helpful. And if there's other tips that you may know of, please just type it in the comment section, and we can add to the support, the love, and the resources I want to share with.
Still have that teaser we got to tell you all about.
Anybody. Yes. So one last thing. Thank you to my husband for reminding me. We have a teaser coming up. There is a series. There is a mini documentary series, right?
Yeah.
We could call it that. We created a mini documentary documenting my PCOS journey. So check out this quick video.
It is coming.
Oh my goodness, I love
Can't wait till that thing comes out.
Teaser so much. Shout out to Chad, who created that. Listen, it's really special. It's from the heart. It's rich. It is so rich, and I pray that it blesses you and encourages you on the journey, and you get to see me go through it, and we can go through it together, so you don't have to be alone. No PCOS woman left alone in this journey. So thank you guys for joining us for a rich conversation, and I hope it enriches your life.